Ahoy, shipmates!
Sea Valiant, BTS, good evening.
BTS kindly interrupted me there.
Sea Valiant, BTS, good evening. Sea Valiant, BTS, negative. We have no prospects for you at this time. No prospects for you. The weather conditions down at the nav tower are currently too much for our launches, so we will not be boarding any vessels at this time. If you can maintain a listening watch on channels 12 and 09, as soon as the pilots do have any prospects for you, they will call you on 09, over.
As you can hear from BTS there.
All copy, thank you.
The weather is not very agreeable at the moment, shipmates. We've had a lot of wind and rain in port. I even had some lightning earlier. But it looks like the fireworks are going ahead. Let's go back over here, shall we? So we have the Queen Victoria departing at 5:30. Let's have a little check on the Queen Victoria. So shall we see if that is actually the case, or if it's just me telling you some porky pies. Let's have a look. Yeah, that's Queen Victoria is still looks to me like she is moored up, but there are two tugs in attendance. Like I say, it's been very gusty here in the port of Southampton. Let's have a look from, oh gosh, this is from Netley Cam. Oh, it's clearly very wet out there. Oh, what was that? Is there more lightning? I saw a bit of a, oh, hang on, could be the fireworks. Oh, let me go. Oh, hey, fireworks are on. Can't see much from Netley Cam. Well, so anyway, Queen Victoria's on her way. These are fireworks for Queen Mary 2, rather strangely, and then Queen Victoria's at the other end of port.
I've seen BTS, that's all. Copy, thank you.
Oh, they're getting quite large, aren't they?
BTS, Red Jet 6.
That's a good old display.
Red Jet 6, BTS.
BTS, Red Jet 6, is there speed restrictions for the fireworks launch?
6 BTS, no, negative, not been requested.
Oh, copy, thanks.
You can see Queen Mary 2 there on the left-hand side. She's off, as well as Queen Victoria. They're both off on world cruises. 102 days worth of world cruises. And that's certainly some sort of travel trip, that, isn't it? I'm just going to zoom out slightly here. I think the fireworks are quite impressive. So we have this firework display for Queen Mary 2. You can just see Queen Mary 2 on the left-hand side of your picture there. And then Queen Victoria is the end of the port. She'll come out and she's having a firework display as well. And I think luckily conditions have cleared up a bit, which has been rather good. I can see plenty going on. This would be the sort of view you'd be getting if you were on the Queen Mary 2.
Mercurius, from the SP on 12, over. Yeah, SP, Mercurius. Do you want to go 9 or 87? Yeah, channel 9, please. 9.
Clearly the Red Jet's not too worried about getting close to the firework display. Not had much success lately with firework displays and trying to catch things going on in port. It's all been quite tricky. Now, the weather has been awful lately. It was quite a few weeks of terrible weather, with wind as well. There was a drone display supposedly going on the other day, but that was cancelled. Again, wind and rain seem to be the never-ending features of cancelness. And probably about half an hour ago, even visibility here was really poor. It's sort of picked up a bit now, isn't it? Zoom out a bit. There must be some big fireworks going off. Oh, look at that. Oh, do you think this may be the crescendo? This is where we start going ooh and ah? Is this that part of the show? Now, this show is for Queen Mary 2, and it's taking place in the sort of middle, well, no, the lower swing ground, right outside of Queen Mary 2. And then the firework display for Queen Victoria will take place down past the dockhead, which we should be able to see from Netley Cam, I think, and possibly Cruise Cam. And hopefully it might clear up a bit. Well, actually, it has cleared up quite a lot this evening, hasn't it? Yes, lots of colourful ones now. We often have... I have not seen some decent firework displays in the Port of Southampton for a ship departure for quite a while, and they are very good. I mean, they are on, frankly, they're on power, or perhaps even better than some of the fireworks displays from Mayflower Park. Ahoy there, shipmate Emma has joined as a leading hand through the YouTube membership scheme. Well, thank you very much, shipmate. Welcome aboard, shipmate. Grab yourself a mug of grog when you're down in the galley. I wonder if we'll have some of these fancy fireworks where you get to see smiley faces and those sorts of things. So I just pity we don't have sound here as well. I think weather has caused the microphones to slowly fail over time. Probably waterlogged. Some little problem I'll have to try and sort out. Always something to fix on the good ship, Solent Ships. It's a bit of a leaky vessel, but it's still ploughing on strongly.
Queen Victoria VTS, that's all. Copy, thank you.
I think this camera here has our best view at the moment. Now, there's some big fireworks going on. I think we might be drawing towards the conclusion, perhaps, of the display. Who knows? Oh, I haven't really paid much attention to what's going on in the chat. Oh. Ahoy there, shipmates in the chat. Ahoy there, Ellie Murley. He's on board. Ahoy there, Tizzy C. And ahoy there, Gemma Harris. Yeah, it's been a bit of a confusion with the starting times for this, because it was supposed to be later, then it was earlier. It's generally been bouncing around all over the place. I think the weather conditions have been a problem. It was going to be really windy, and it's held back. But it looks like we've hit a pleasant spot here where there's not too much rain in the air, and we're getting a decent display. If you happen to be in port yourself, I think the end of Town Quay Pier would probably be your best viewing location for this. I did consider going down and trying to broadcast from there, but I thought probably streaming from here was better. Come on, camera, focus, damn it. There we go. I think we're building up to the grand finale. There we go. You can see it's still quite gusty out there. The wind is blowing the smoke all over Queen Mary 2. If you were on the starboard side, though, you'd have an absolutely fantastic view of that, wouldn't you? Well, I think that's the end of the first display there, shipmate. So if we go back to here, we've got... so the Queen Victoria... let's have a look. Has Queen Victoria actually departed? Looks like Queen Victoria is still on the dock side. She does have tugs in attendance. And I did hear something on the radio, but I didn't quite catch what she said. So I imagine she's probably imminently due to go. Then we've just had the firework display for Queen Mary 2, opposite Queen Mary 2. Then there'll be a firework display for Queen Victoria as she gets past the dockhead. So where's the dockhead?
BTS will supply.
We'll supply BTS.
BTS will supply. That's the first display complete. We're just going to head over to the mouth of the Itchin. The plan is to run up alongside the Queen Victoria outside the greens.
We'll supply BTS. That's all copied. Thank you.
Oh, there we go. So now you've heard, hopefully you heard all that. Hopefully you're hearing the BTS radio. So it sounds like so this is Will Supply here. This is where the firework displays were for the Queen Mary. On Will Supply here. Will Supply is let me show you. Will Supply is this working platform vessel. It's got a crane on it, a couple of shipmates on board, and it chugs around port, moves things here and there, and that's towing a barge with all the fireworks on. So what Will Supply is known to do now, Will Supply is going to go over to here, mouth of the Itchin, near the Moorhead Buoy, and as Queen Victoria comes past the dockhead, this is Queen Mary 2 here, as Queen Victoria comes past the dockhead down to here, the firework display will be going on along here. And it sounds like it's going to be a moving firework display. I guess that works. If we have a look on Netlycam, so it should be. Oh gosh, seems like it's really wet down in Southampton water there, but we're actually not too wet here in port. Let's have a look. Yeah, I think we're pretty good up here in port. Well, hopefully that will clear up. So that is Will Supply there. That's Will Supply, and then that's the barge that they are now proceeding to go down to the dockhead. And Queen Victoria. There is Queen Victoria. Has she started moving? Oh, yes, there we go. So Queen Victoria is away from the dockside. She will head up to the upper swing ground, spin around up here, and then head on down past the dockhead. We'll have another firework display, and then Queen Mary 2 will leave. It's a pretty interesting evening, don't you think, shipmates? Let's see if I can get something better to look at. It's quite tricky lighting conditions, all this hazy fog in the air. I did see in the comments earlier that someone said they had a friend or a family on Queen Mary 2. And for any of you that might be interested, there's a familiar looking view I might show you in a second. There is Queen Mary 2 all lit up, looking super bright and shiny. And you can just see the barge is just on your right hand side of the screen there. The barge is going off down to the dockhead to release the fire. Oh, it is raining. You can see the rain in the lights. I hope you can anyway. Just about make it out. Yes, so it is actually raining in port. It just seems that Netlycam seems to really be suffering with it down in Netley. Or perhaps it's wetter down that way. What I was saying is there's a familiar view which some of you may be missing, and it will return to your screen shortly. That's the old Red Funnel ferry. The old ferry cam. Now, currently, I don't think we get precipitation. So, yeah, we have gusting. We have had gusting quite high this evening. So, we have had gusting at, over 30 knots, which I think they've got tugs in attendance. Once it's sort of the wind gusts, once the wind gusts over 20 knots, they bring the tugs out for safety. But it has just calmed down a bit, which is great, because I'd imagine if it was too windy, they seem to cancel the firework displays. Just seeing if I can buy Queen Victoria at the upper swing ground. Quick check in Netley. Oh, it's horrible in Netley. What's it like on the Isle of Wight? Pretty awful on the Isle of Wight as well. It might be okay here. It looks like, I would say that's the HMM Newry. It's got a couple of tugs assisting as well at the moment. I think just at the bottom of our screen we can see one of the tugs, the Queen Victoria. Got a view here of the upper swing ground. I see my chat seems to have stopped. Hi there, Gemma Harris. She likes Ferry Cam. Hi there, Phase Cloud says, when's Ferry Cam coming back? Well, keep your eyes peeled on Friday, shipmates. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel and give it a thumbs up, and I shall make sure that things happen on Friday. Hi there, Gobby Bobby. I think that's right. It says, lift near Ocean Village. It's pouring down here and it's pretty windy. Yeah, it's an awful evening. Absolutely awful evening. Just going to get a glimpse now of... It looks all right this way at the top end of port, though, doesn't it? It looks very clear. Very clear up here compared to... You come back to Netley Cam, and it just looks like it's pouring down there. So we must be just in a little pocket of calm. Hi there, Margaret Taylor says that the 2024 World Cruises start at £13,000, up to £52,000 plus insurance and tours, etc. You've certainly got to consider that, haven't you? Hi there, Tony86. Asks, is that Ferry Cam? Is it coming back? Yeah, it is. Well, just keep a lookout on Friday, ship it. Gemma Harris says, STC5. She's missed you. This is what we're looking at, STC5 now. This is the shipping container port, STC5. That's where all the super large container ships go. So that's one of the HMM ships. She'll be 400 metres long.
Hope Shanghai, Solent VTS there. Good evening. Hope Shanghai, Solent VTS there. Due to the weather forecast and conditions at the moment, sir, your pilot's been cancelled and you'll not be coming up as scheduled.
Yeah, I don't know if you heard that. Hopefully you're hearing VTS radio.
Yes, sir, that is correct. Pilot is cancelled until further notice.
Yeah, hopefully you're hearing VTS. They've been cancelling the pilots, so if you're anchored or you're coming into the port of Southampton.
If you monitor channel 12 and 09, we will let you know as soon as we know a time for you.
Yeah, the pilot boats are only rated to board pilots at certain sea states and winds, and they've decided it's all too windy. Also, all the ships that are at anchor in the nav anchorage have been told to ready their engines and anchors just in case. And if it does get really windy, they'll be told to start their engines, because sometimes the ships start drifting.
That's right, VTS, sir. Good afternoon, sir.
Ahoy there, Janet Houghton. Joined as a leading hand. Welcome aboard, shipmate. Grab yourself a mug of grog when you're down in the galley.
Red Osprey VTS, that's all received, sir. Thank you. Got the Wood Champion North Ride there inward bound. The Queen Victoria, she's entered the upper swing ground and outward bound now, sir.
There we go. He's...
VTS, I see. Sleeping Town Quay.
Hi, seeing VTS, thank you.
So there's the HMM Newry. And that's what we can see side on. And there is the Queen Victoria just heading towards the upper swing ground here. Ahoy there, Ellie Burley. No, we saw your last message. I don't know what your last message was, but I saw your last message saying, did you see your last message? I'll have to scroll back a bit. Ah, yes. Yes. We will do like Ferry Cam. Ahoy there, Leslie Taylor asks, do we know how many people on board? Actually, no, I haven't heard anything yet, so So unless I missed it, but I haven't heard anything. Looks to me like conditions are slightly improving down Southampton water. This will be... there you go. That's the barge that you can see there right in the centre of the screen, the little flashing lights. That's where the fireworks are. So it looks like things have cleared up. So we'll get to see an excellent second firework display from Netley here as Queen Victoria comes down Southampton water. 2 fireworks displays in one evening, shipmates. It's not often you have a channel like this on YouTube, is there? I suggest if you haven't subscribed, you well I think you should. Looks like Queen Victoria is going to adopt a anti-clockwise spin. I could be wrong. Hi there. Joe Cake Game Dev says that rain's pretty much stopped in the city centre. Yeah, that's what it looks like. Excellent timing. Hi there, Helen Jones says welcome to all the Blue Spanner crew. We should thank the Blue Spanner crew. You'll see them in the comments. They're our administrators for the channel. They do an excellent job of providing information when the captain doesn't know what he's talking about, which is quite frequent, has to be said. These 2 ships are off on world cruises, and these are some world cruises. Now, the Queen Victoria is off on a 102 night world cruise. This is quite a long list, so but I think you'll get the idea. So his first port of call is New York. And then Phillipsburg, St. Martin, Orange, Aruba, Panama Canal, Hotoloco, Cabo San Lucas, San Francisco, Hilo, Honolulu, Apia, Nufukalufa, I'm sure I pronounced that one right, Auckland, Tauranga, Bay of Islands, Sydney, Cairns, Darwin, Benoa, Jakarta, Klang, Pula, Penang Island, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Salah, Aqaba, Suez Canal, Naples, and Lisbon. That's what you get on the Queen Victoria for your 102 night cruise. Cost estimations for a 102 night cruise. I'm looking earlier, and I think it's fair to say that I think one of the other shipmates has mentioned not exactly cheap. I think by the time you get yourself a decent cabin and a few excursions, you're probably looking somewhere on the region of £30,000 a person. I'm sure you could probably do it cheaper. I'm sure Emma Cruises would do it cheaper. She'd find the budget way to do a world cruise. Oh, I am glad the weather's cleared up though. That's really good, isn't it? Oh yes, it's definitely stopped raining, and that's the firework barge there in the centre of the screen. Well, of course, with Queen Mary 2 there as well. See if I can zoom in a bit on that. There we go. That's the fireworks and Queen Mary 2. It's lovely to have a view of the container terminal again. Do so enjoy watching the cranes work. They work very busily, 24 hours a day, unloading and loading the ships. Ahoy there, James Lewis says that his mum and grandmother are on the Queen Victoria. Excellent shipmate. Well, if they're not too busy down at the buffet, see if they can give us a wave. Oh, there's Steve Arnold says that unfortunately recently a Grimsby pilot was lost while transferring to a ship. Can't be too careful.
BTS, Red Falcon, shortest passing Rob here for cows.
Red Clark and Reach, sir. Yep, that's all received, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it is quite important when the weather conditions are bad. 'Cause I don't know if you've ever seen someone boarding from a pilot ship onto a cruise ship, or sorry, any ship for that matter, that needs a pilot. It involves bringing the pilot boat right next to the side of the ship, and if it's a container ship, they drop a long ladder down, and you have to try and jump on the ladder while it's moving and get on board. Now, if it's a rough sea, of course, you're going up and down quite a lot, and that's a pretty tricky situation to be in. So I can see why, once the conditions aren't very favourable, they don't allow the pilots to board anymore. Makes sense. I mean, you don't have to wait too long, do you? It's never that bad of weather in this country. It'll only be a few hours this evening, and then they'll be able to get on board later. You can see, so Queen Victoria is spinning quite nicely here. And you can just about see one of the tugs as well, holding the HMM Mir in place. In fact, there you go. You can see the tug at the front pulling around the Queen Victoria. There we go. So you've got one tug Lomax at the stern, and then bits Eastern on the bow, pulling around. Well, there's Susie Q says top deck looks good for a wave. I would say so. I mean, our top deck are probably good for a wave, and you get to see the fireworks. Especially if you happen to have a starboard side cabin. You'd be out of luck, wouldn't you? Of course, unless you're in the buffet. Oh, there's Sal B UK says his neighbours are on Queen Victoria. There we go. Look at the conditions now. Very clear. Oh, good. We'll hopefully get a good view of the next firework display. So we got Queen Victoria slightly late departing. She was departed at 5:30, a little bit tardy. Captain's not really pleased with that. 5:45, we've already had the fireworks for Queen Mary 2, and then at 6:15 we've got the fireworks for Queen Victoria. I'd imagine that's going to be a little bit later, because they're not going to set them off with Queen Victoria not being there, and then Queen Mary 2 departing at 7. I would imagine we're probably going to be about 25 minutes or so before Queen Victoria's at the end of the port. Looks like she's speeding up with her spin here, though. I would imagine the next firework display somewhere in the region of probably 6:45, something like that. Oh, there, Margaret Taylor says a lot of people with inside cabins tune the TV to the bridge cam. That gives an impression of being able to see outside. Yeah, that's a really splendid idea. Selby, who's got his neighbours travelling on Queen Victoria, so they won't be back until the 23rd of April. I mean, who knows? 23rd of April, that's a long time. I know it's 102 nights, but you think about it, 23rd of April, that's a long time. By the time they get back, we could have a different Prime Minister by then. Could be on our third Prime Minister of the year. No, I think Rishi may be staying a little bit longer. Well, there, Abby Smith says she'll have a lovely view of the fireworks from where she is. So I'm not sure where she is. She may be in Western Shore or somewhere there. Says friends and she has family on board the Queen Victoria and hope they have a lovely time. Oh, I'm sure they will, shipmate. I can see a decent turn of speed now in Queen Victoria. Hopefully we'll get this at a point where she turns right towards the camera and you get a lovely view all the way down the side. Looks like I can see quite a few shipmates on the balconies. They've probably been told to go up on the upper decks to watch the fireworks, or unless they're not been allowed to go to the buffet until they've seen the firework display. Can't imagine P&O's carnival. I can't imagine Cunard's as straight as that, but you never know. Oh, Abby Smith, no, she's in Hythe Marina. Yeah, you get a decent view there. You probably had a good view of the Queen Mary 2 fireworks earlier as well from Hythe Marina. Well, there, Kevin Williams, excellent member of the channel. He says he also gets a view from his flat. I'm not quite sure where Kevin Williams' flat is, but he'll be getting a view. He sensibly also has the Solent Ships YouTube channel turned on, so he knows what's going on. Keith Williams says he's in Weston. Oh, he'll have a fantastic view from Weston, yeah. Well, you'll probably hear it as well, the wind will be blowing all the sound your way. There we go. We've got Queen Victoria heading directly for us. I'm not sure when the tugs will disconnect. Probably as she comes down from the upper swing ground down to the middle swing ground. I think that's when the tugs will disconnect. Not often you see the tugs. It almost looks like she's drifting sideways there, doesn't it? Could be the wind. I'm not entirely sure what the wind strength is at the moment. Let's check the wind strength, shall we? Wind strength is, it's gusting to 10, 12 knots. That's not too bad. When you're quite a large vessel, it does make all the difference. We will lose sight of Queen Victoria as she comes down towards the dockhead. Fortunately, there's a bit of a building in the way. It's ever works properly. Well, there, Trevor Hillary says they can hear it in St. Denis, so he's quite a long way from the water and he can hear the fireworks. Yeah, I imagine the wind's blowing it all that way. Oh, there, David Eddy says his cousin Phoebe's on board. And in March, on her 80th birthday, she's getting married to her boyfriend. Well, had to be a very memorable experience for her. So this is the...
Hi, team. Stephen, hi.
Hi, Stephen, yes, thank you. Got the Queen Victoria passing 106 berth outward bound now.
There you go.
Red Jet 6 VTS, that's all received and understood. The Wood Champion approaching the West Bramble there, inward bound for the Empress. And as I say, the Queen Victoria passing 106 outward.
Yeah, the Hythe ferry was supposed to stop sailing on the end of last year, but it looks like they've had some financial support from the body. There was an announcement from Hythe ferry operators, and the Hythe ferry is still running, which is good, because it's a most excellent place to view the ships in the Port of Southampton. It takes you between Southampton, Town Quay and Hythe. There's a lovely little train that takes you for a ride up and down the pier, which is great, and you get to see the ships quite close up. So if you are in port, maybe doing a bit of ship spotting, or perhaps you're waiting to board a cruise ship, it's a good place to go. I recommend it wholeheartedly. Oh, it looks like we're not going to lose too much of the edge of Queen Victoria. As you can see, she's about halfway, well, not quite halfway down. Coming down Southampton Water. Oh, sorry. Coming down the upper dock area. Down towards the middle swing ground. We'll get some good views there as she passes the ferry terminal. There's Queen Mary 2 patiently waiting for the departure of Queen Victoria. And look, conditions have cleared up nicely. We're getting a really sharp view now. Oh, the weather is working in our favour. First time for a long time, shipmates. Weather has been a real bane lately. It stopped all sorts of exciting things going on. So it's really good to see it come back. Yeah, excellent. Well, should get a good view of that firework display as well. 2 firework displays in one evening, shipmates. I think that's probably a channel first. In fact, I'm not sure I've live streamed a firework display before on my ship's TV. No, I might be wrong. I've live streamed the November the firework display last year down to Town Quay. Weather for that was horrible as well. Windy, wet. Some years that's been cancelled. It's just don't seem to get on very well here in the port of Southampton with fireworks. Looks to me like the Queen Victoria's picking up a little bit of speed now. I wonder if the tug is still there. Can't quite see over those trees in Mayflower Park. Looks like the tug is still there. Maybe the tug will be disconnecting shortly. Quite a few shipmates, looks like, up on deck. Oh, they're lucky, really, that it stopped raining. It's been such a terrible weather day. So they'll be up on deck looking for the firework display as they come down Southampton Water. Yeah, there's the barge left-hand side of the screen. Queen Mary 2 on the right-hand side. And that's the little Hythe ferry in between. Shuttling between Town Quay and Hythe Marina. Sorry, not Hythe Marina, Hythe Pier. I was someone said they're watching from Hythe Marina, which is a great location. Yeah, it looks like the tug is still attached. They might well be detaching shortly. Or perhaps with the wind conditions, they might stay attached a little longer. Looks like a lot of birthdays going on in the chat. So happy birthday to everyone's having a birthday. Seems there's a lot of birthday going on. Oh, well, there, Valley RC says they hope they keep the Hythe ferry going. We always go on a little adventure to Hythe there in the port of Southampton, and I wholeheartedly recommend it to everyone. Yeah, there we go. We can see past the trees now in Mayflower Park. Hi there, Sal B. There's whoever's talking has a great voice. Well, thank you, shipmate. That is I, the captain. Hopefully supplying you with the facts and figures that are pertinent, but occasionally getting them wrong. 75% success rate, I think, is satisfactory. Oh, we're getting some good clear views now. Oh, this is turning out to be a really good evening. I was a little bit sceptical earlier on. The rain was horrendous. Poor visibility. Terrible, terrible. Oh, unfortunately, we're now starting to see the edge of Cooties Indian Restaurant. Very good Indian restaurant. Apparently he's having a little bit of financial trouble. I thought he was going to be closed, but if he is closed, he's left the lights on. And as you will see shortly in a second, it's a positively very bright mecca of Indian restaurants. Yeah, it's sort of like the Disney World of Indian restaurants. There we go. You can hardly miss it in the port of Southampton. Quite good food, I must say. I've been there a few times. I can recommend it if you're after some Indian food in the port of Southampton before you get on your ferry. Ooh, Isle of Wight Adventures with red funnel ferries. Very quiet this time of year on the red funnel ferries. I was probably they're trying to promote hardly. Oh, you can see the other tug on the stern there as well. There's a good chance, I'd imagine, tugs will be disconnecting shortly. I shall move the, well, eyesore or interesting building, depending on your point of view, of Cooties Brasserie to the right-hand side of the screen. It does look really, really quite bright in real life. It's very bright indeed. It used to be the old entrance to the Royal Pier. The rest of the Royal Pier, unfortunately, is just falling away into the sea there. Really disappointing. Glenn Cox says, is the restaurant any good? Yeah, it is good. It's a good Indian restaurant. He has a steakhouse. Well, he did have a steakhouse. I'm not sure what's going on at the moment, but he did have a steakhouse upstairs. I can't say I've ever been to the steakhouse, but the Indian restaurant was very decent. Can be a little loud. I would also recommend bookings. Bookings seem to be quite important for Cooties.
BTS, Queen Victoria, for your head by out.
Queen Victoria VTS, I had to receive that, thank you. Got up with Champion, approaching the cow shop light, floating westbound now.
Have a little quick look at the tug, shall we? I know a few of you shipmates are quite interested in the sort of the tug aspect of the port. Looks like the line is still connected. Yeah, it's not often we see the tugs in action taking the cruise ships out, because it's mainly only when the wind speeds are sort of over 20 knots, and it has been gusting well over 30. No. I can see why the tugs are out. Looks to me like there are quite a number of shipmates on their balconies. I'm guessing they've all been told to prepare for the departure firework display. We will get a fantastic view here as well, and there's, of course, you happen to be like some of the shipmates living very close in port. See, there's quite a few on their balcony. Can't see anybody waving as yet. A couple of wavers would be nice. Oh, there's a strobing light up there. If that's a shipmate with some sort of identification torch, they're doing a bang-up job, because that's very visible. I'll see if I can zoom in on it. It seems to have gone off to the edge of the screen. Oh, is it there? Oh yeah, it is. I think we have our first waver. Oh, there. That seems like a very well prepared shipmate there somewhere. Just lost. Oh, come on. The controls for this camera are slightly awkward, to put it politely, especially when you've got big thumbs. Yeah, I think they were up on the top deck there somewhere.
Security, all stations. This is Southampton. VTS with a strong wind warning. Information, wind speeds within the Southampton VTS area at the NAB Tower. Currently southwest 30 to gusting 52 knots. Advice, all vessels anchored within the Southampton VTS area are to have their main engines and windlasses at immediate readiness and to maintain a good anchor watch. This is Southampton VTS out.
Wow, 52 knots. Now that is quite windy. I can see why. We've got tugs in the readiness here. It looks like they're taking in the slack at the stern here. Let me do a picture. I'm slightly delayed. I'm a little bit ahead of you. And there we go. There's the tug taking in the slack, getting ready to release Queen Victoria. Building down to our left, you'll see shortly, is the Town Quay here. Well, there, Carol Andrews says, how long does it take to get to New York? Probably about 4 or 5 days. I think that's sort of typical, maybe 6. Might depend on weather conditions. Oh, there, Luke O'Flynn says he was caught in the weather in the Southampton earlier, about an hour ago, and it was awful. Yes, it was. It looked horrendous. Oh, we've caught a lucky break here. We've got these shipmates on board, getting a fantastic view. They're all geared up. Hopefully they've got their warm jackets on, got their cameras at the ready. As you can see the name on their ship there, the Queen Victoria, all geared up to watch the firework display once they get past the dockhead. And shipmate Dean Willis says that he's found a 101-day cruise was just over £21,000. That's the cheapest he's found.
Red Osprey VTS, all received, sir. Thank you. The Queen Victoria passing Town Quay now, outward bound. Clear chat.
So if you happen to have yourself £21,000 and you fancy a...
VTS, high teens, leaving Town Quay.
I've seen VTS, thank you. I'm sure you see the Queen Victoria there, passing Town Quay out.
Received, thank you.
Now, it's a pity I don't have a microphone going, because I'd imagine there'll be a great deal of hooting and honking between the two ships. Both, if there's often ships in port from the same cruise line, they will have a great deal of communication between them. There we go. That's the Queen Mary 2 on the left-hand side. Queen Victoria just beyond Town Quay Pier, coming along nicely. So conditions like over in Netley, looking good. That's the firework barge down the bottom of the screen there. Guessing probably we'll start seeing fireworks in, I don't know, 10-15 minutes or so. So stay tuned, shipmates, don't go anywhere. Make sure you're subscribed and all that sort of jazz. Yes, conditions have improved massively. I did see someone in the chat saying it's... I've lost the chat. Where's the chat gone? There we go. Oh, someone else talking about the prices. £21,000. Does that include a drinks package? Oh, I'm not sure about that, shipmate. I wasn't Someone who does, or shipmate Dean Willis, who done the research, didn't mention that. I don't know. You'd have to make your own research into that one.
BTS, Red Jet 6, Northwest Netley in, continue at speed, please.
6 VTS, yeah, with caution, please. Got the Victoria there, Queen Victoria on the way out with the tugs, and the barge just off of Western Shelf there. And the Will Freedom also on the other side.
All copy, thank you.
There we go, so we'll see the tug is still attached. I'll probably wait until they're past the dockhead then. Just the fireworks will be starting. Because pity we don't have sound working at the moment. So the wind and rain has defeated my microphones, and then we probably hear a lot of hooting and honking between the two Cunard ships.
VTS Eston.
Aston VTS, good evening.
Good evening, Andy. That's us finished on the Queen Victoria back to SRC7.
That's all received, Chris, thank you. Got the Red Jet inward bound there.
Yeah, I see him there. Thanks a lot.
It sounds like the tugs have just finished. They're just releasing now. Or at least the one on the bow is finished, perhaps. The one on the stern is still attached. I can't remember. I think it was Apex on the stern. Yes, we can see the... Or I can see the Essen disappearing out of the way, while Apex is still attached on the stern. Often at these opportunities as well, you'll get people shouting and waving at each other between the two ships. They are passing relatively close to each other. And then we will be seeing, there we go, there she's on Netley cam, so I'm not sure when these fireworks are starting, but I'm going to, what I'm going to do here, I'm going to have to, running out of hands. I believe the barge is there somewhere. Oh, it looks like I can see a drone flying down there as well. Or is that an aeroplane? One of the Red Jets. These are passenger-only ships. They blast in and out from Cowes and the Isle of Wight over to Town Quay as well.
BTS, Red Falcon at Hit Alpha.
Red Falcon Hookouser, thank you.
Quick look on the map and see where the barge is, shall we? Oh, it's not showing anything. Anyway, there's Queen Victoria. There's Wheel Supply, so that's the barge with the fireworks on, so it's just there somewhere. Just the right. I think if I go over here. Yeah, the barge is just on the right-hand side of the screen there. You can just make it out underneath the bow of Queen Mary 2. approaching the dock head. Hopefully all the passengers will be up on deck on their balconies, ready to watch the spectacular fireworks. And here we go. I think the passengers of the Queen Mary 2 will get a second show. Oh, looks like the rain's coming again as well. That's unfortunate. Gosh, that's a high one. Oh, I have to go back a bit more. There we go. Hopefully they'll be back enough, zoomed out enough now to catch all the fireworks. Quite a challenge, isn't it? Looks like the rain's just coming back as well. Bit of a shame. But I think we could still get a good view, don't you think, shipmates?
We're Champion VTS will receive that. Thank you. Got the Queen Victoria dockhead now, outward bound. And the Queen Mary should due away from 38.9 at 1900.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, it's quite a spectacle again. I think you'd enjoy your 102-day cruise on the Queen Victoria with views like this. You'd certainly know you're leaving, wouldn't you? Somebody's asking. I probably should say. I mentioned it before, but I'll go through the name of unmentionable places. Also get a bit of view from cruise camp as well. Let's see if we can see it on the other camera. No, I can't see it on the other camera. Yeah, Queen Victoria's off for a 102-night cruise, world cruise, via New York, Phillipsburg, St. Martin, Oranjestad, Aruba, Panama Canal, Honolulu, Cabo San Lucas, San Francisco, Hilo, Honolulu, Apia, Nuku'alofa, Auckland, Tauranga, Bay of Islands, Sydney, Cairns, Darwin, Benoa, Jakarta, Klang, Pulau, Penang Island, Singapore, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Salah, Aqaba, Suez Canal, Naples, and Lisbon. There we go. And also just seeing you can see the reflections on there, on the Queen Victoria there, Queen Victoria and the Queen Mary 2. They're getting close to each other. It does look like the rain has come back in again. Yeah, Netlycam's getting a little bit rainy. I don't know if they play music at the same time on the cruise ship to accompany the firework display, or if it's just completely independent. I've yet to experience a firework display on a cruise ship. That's a good set of fireworks we got there. I think whoever it was that the shipmate was living in Western Shore will have an excellent view this evening. Oh, Abby Smith says, "Norby, you can hear music on the ships." Oh, I thought that might be the case. Oh, that was a bright purple one then. I feel this perhaps may be the climactic close of the display. I'm going to tactfully zoom out a bit and see if I can get a better view. They are going quite high. Oh yeah, that's a good one. That's bright. Oh, if they had fireworks like that all the time, it would be much easier to film the ships at night, wouldn't it? Something to think about. Oh, I like that one. It was almost the colours were fading over the big explosion. There you go. You can see it sweeping across. As the sparkles, they change colour. That's very impressive. I'm not sure I've seen that before. Colour changing fireworks. It's all the rage these days, isn't it? Colour changing. Oh, no, I think that's probably it. That's probably the end of the performance.
BTS, Red Jet 6, shortly away from Town Quay.
Yeah, 6 VTS, that's all received. Thank you to Queen Victoria, Northwest Netley. Outward bound, clear channel please, and the Wood Champion passing us over in.
All copy, thanks.
There we go. That was the end of the display. How about that? We managed to get both displays in. The weather cooperated very briefly, but briefly enough. That was the end of that. So we now have...
CTS, well, Freedom.
Well, Freedom VTS, go ahead, sir.
Yeah, that's us all finished. Heights here back to 21 berths, please. 7 on board.
Well, Freedom VTS, all received, sir.
VTS will supply, likewise, back with a barge.
And we'll supply VTS, thank you.
No problem, sir. Have a good trip.
We have the Queen Mary 2, her stern faces towards us. She is due to depart at 7 o'clock. I haven't heard anything different, likewise, to suggest it won't be happening.
Aston.
Aston VTS, sir. Good evening again.
Good evening again, Andy. Just breaking away from 37 for the Queen Mary 1900.
That's all received, no problem, thank you. I've seen VTS, thank you. We do have the Queen Mary due to break away from 38.9 there at 1900, and the tug's just going round for her.
There we go. So that's from VTS. That still looks like a 7 o'clock departure for Queen Mary 2. Looks like the tug is just breaking away at the stern there. Is that right? Yes, there we go. The tug is now breaking away. Still looks to me like there's a drone following. sort of middle of the screen there.
Queen Victoria for VTS, that's all received, sir. Thank you. And the champion passing us out inwards, sir.
Can't see any lines being taken up just yet. A bit early for that. We've got 10 minutes to go.
Landmax VTS, all received, thank you.
Excuse me. Queen Mary 2 is also off on a 102 night cruise. I think very similar destinations. The 102 night cruise. These are the Centenary World cruise trips, I think, celebrating 100 years of the Cunard, I believe. Her world cruise is, I think, backwards. A slightly different route to Queen Victoria. But you'll be calling, Queen Mary 2 will be calling in at Lisbon, Heraclion, Suez Canals, Luxor, Salah, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Muscat, Paolo Panning Island, Kuala Lumpur, Singapore, Bangkok, Saigon, Benar, Darwin, Airlie Beach, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Kangaroo, Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, Walvis Bay, Santa Cruz de la Tenerife, and back to Southampton on 23rd of April. A very long 102 night world cruise. Oh, look, there's one of the red funnels. If you can get your timings right, that's a really good way to see a cruise ship be on one of the red funnels. Tricky to get it right though. The little devils don't always leave on time. I'll keep an eye on the Queen Mary 2. As soon as I see some lines coming in, we'll have a look at that. Meanwhile, we'll just follow the Queen Victoria as she departs down Southampton Water. Well, there, Chris N says, lovely fireworks. Great to see commentary. Thank you, Captain. No problem, shipmate. I was rather worried that the weather would stop us getting a good view, but I think we got a decent view in the end. Okay, I'll zoom in on the back of Queen Mary 2. I can see if those lines are coming in. There we go. Yeah, I'm not quite sure what I've missed. I was looking at something else. Yeah, Cunard is 183 years old. I'm not quite sure what the centenary cruise is. There must be a reason for it. If I'd done my homework, the captain would know, but unfortunately, the captain doesn't know. Perhaps a informed shipmate in the chat will tell us why it's called a centenary cruise. Maybe you have to save up for 100 years to afford a ticket. That might make more sense. That's quick look, shall we, on the Queen Mary 2? No, lines still seem attached. Nothing going on there just yet. We'll go back to Queen Victoria. We've done some work to Netcam and sort of guide it up slightly. I think it's less wobbly considering it is quite windy out there. It's definitely not as wobbly as it was, although I appreciate it's still not level. It's at the top of a tower. It's quite difficult to work on, and I think we're going to replace a few brackets and bits and pieces as part of a combined set of works for the Netclips Sailing Club. We must thank graciously for donating a little there space for the Netcam. Gives us a great view of the ships going down Southampton water. Deborah Hall, excellent shipmate. Thank you, Deborah Hall. Oh, there we go. Oh, let's follow that red jet, shall we? Oh, how fast that red jet's going. I don't think I can keep up with it. Oh, I can. Yeah, I can keep up with it. Can't see many people on board. Excellent shipmate Deborah Hall says the Cunard celebrates 100 years of world voyages. That's right. I knew there was something to do with that. And these are the 2 centenary sneaks. Yes, that's right. I do remember reading that now.
BBC Skipper, BBC. BBC Skipper, Southampton BTS, calling channel 12.
Well, it looks like the Queen Mary 2 hasn't singled up yet. Singling up is when they take a few of those lines down. Should be on the way. It's supposed to depart at 7, so keep an eye on that. Meanwhile, back to Queen Victoria. Oh, shipmate Trevor Hillary, a man after my own heart. There's just had a look on Cunard's website, and the top price is £303,000 for 2 people. That certainly sounds expensive to me. £303,000. Is that £300,000 for 2? Oh yeah, for 2. Yeah, I really know. I didn't know if that was £303,000 per person. Woo. Oh, I suppose it's in this day and age, that's not too expensive, is it really? What are you talking about? Talking about a Ferrari or a 1-bedroom flat in London? Not even that, really, I suppose. A studio in London. So, you know, it's all in proportion, I guess. Deborah Halls says most people pay 20k and £6,000 for a drinks package. £6,000. I wonder how much rum I could drink for £6,000. Oh, there, Willie Beef says he must go, his tea's on fire. I suspect that's the same for me as well, shipmate.
BTS on high scene, Town Quay.
I've seen BTS, that's all received. Which champion names Lake him for the Empress? Over. The Queen Mary 2, 38.9, due away 1900. No contacted yet.
Good evening, thank you.
Yep, still looks attached to me. No movement yet on the Queen Mary 2. Oh, Deborah Hall's full of information this evening. So she says it's £59 a day if you buy the drinks package. Yeah, that's true. And most drinks are £12 each. So £12 each, £59 a day. Yeah, okay, I can sort of see the value in that, I guess. If you had 5 drinks in a day, that would be paid for. So that's quite a lot, 5 drinks a day. But I guess if you're on all day, you might have a little mid-morning rum and then a little rum with lunch. Probably an afternoon rum after you've had a little nap. Then a pre-dinner rum. And then a dinner rum. And then a post-dinner rum. How many rums is that? That's quite a lot of rums, isn't it? Yeah, I think the drinks package is worth it. I can see the value now. Oh, it looks like visibility has cleared up slightly. We could check the visibility machine, couldn't we? Visibility is currently at 19.2 nautical miles. It's not too bad. The wind has dropped to sort of 10 to 20 knots, gusting at 20 knots. The tide is low. Yeah. And the wind is from the southwest as per usual. Oh, there's some very bright lights down at the Esso refinery there. Ellie Burley says, £12 a drink, it better have gold in it. Probably more likely it's £12 a drink and it's probably only a single, not even a double. So further to the questions about the Centurion package, Kevin 2's come through with some useful information here. It's the ultimate adventure from the pioneers of world voyages. 2023 marks 100 years since the RMS Laconia completed Cunard's first world voyage. And to celebrate, we're embarking on a season of global adventures inspired by this pioneering feat in ocean travel. I imagine that would have been quite different 100 years ago to go on a world cruise. Different times indeed. I mean, today you'd even have Wi-Fi all your way around. Glenn Cox says £12 a drink cheaper than London. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, well, it depends what you're buying, I suppose. But yeah, if you're having a fancy drink rather than just a pint of beer, then yes, it's probably cheaper than London. Oh, shipmate Mr. B out and about says he was looking at P&O cruises and their drink package only covers drinks up to £6.95. I think that's something you'd have to think about carefully when booking up your world cruise and paying for the drinks package. Are you actually going to get the benefit from it? Glenn Cox says £13 a pint in Westminster. Oh, last time I was up there, I think I paid about £8.50 when I was up in the West End for a pint. I'm not sure which pricey venues you're going to in Westminster. Getting quite a lovely glow from the Esso refinery there behind Queen Victoria. No movements yet. Oh no, hang on. Looks like we've got some tugs.
VTS will supply, that's the will carry 300 alongside 21 berth. Have a good evening.
Full supply VTS, that's all received. Thank you.
Looks like we've got a couple of tugs arriving for departure of Queen Mary 2, so that looks imminent. We could have a look on the map, couldn't we? Have a look on the map. Yeah, so we have Switzer Eastern on the bow of the Queen Mary 2, so I imagine she's going to depart shortly. Oh, there, Maggie says her sister is on this and her husband. Costs a small fortune. I'm sure it does, but that'll be a trip to remember.
Southampton VTS, Queen Mary.
Oh, here we go. Here's some information on Queen Mary.
Southampton VTS, Queen Mary.
Queen Mary, Southampton VTS.
Yeah, good evening. Port side 38.9 with a draft of 10.4. Vessel's off Lisbon, and I will call back with figures.
Queen Mary to VTS, that's all received.
Well, it'd be interesting to have some figures. We didn't get any figures for Queen Victoria. Or I didn't hear them, which is highly likely, as I'm often waffling away.
VTS, Queen Mary.
Well, maybe the figures already. Excellent.
VTS, Queen Mary 2.
Queen Mary 2, VTS.
Yeah, VTS, are you ready for figures?
Ready, go ahead.
VTS, Queen Mary, passengers 2186, crew 1269 plus 1.
Queen Mary 2, VTS, that's all received. Queen Victoria, VTS. Ready. All received.
I hope you heard those figures there, shipmates. So, I had a reasonably full ship there. Has a maximum capacity of 2,695. For passengers, a maximum capacity, crew of 253. So I forgot, to be honest, I've forgotten the numbers. I wasn't watching them down, but it's actually fairly full from memory there. And we have Queen Victoria right at the end. I think we heard a radio message from Queen Victoria there. Boy there, Elma Taylor Smith asks how many. Yeah, so there we go. Kevin 2's got the numbers 2,186 passengers out of a maximum of 2,695. So that's about 400, 500 short. And a crew of 1,269 out of a maximum crew of 1,253. So he's got a couple of extra crew on board. Plenty of space for a few more passengers. Perhaps she'll pick some up at various ports as she goes around. And shipmate Emma Taylor Smith asks, do we know how many were on board Queen Victoria? No, I don't. Either they didn't tell us or I just missed that. Both are a likely probability. Can't see. Oh, you can see just about see the tug at the bottom of the screen there. Looks like the tug is going to be pulling up the slack, ready to pull the bow away. I don't know if she'll be having two tugs. I'll have a look. See if there is another tug in the offering. So we've got Eston at the front and Berrybee's down there. Perhaps just the one tug. That makes sense. Very close to the open water there, so I'm sure she handled herself. She'll be on Azipods, so she can very, by comparison, very manoeuvrable. to some of the ships that are on shaft drives. Well, looks like we can see the lines. Here we go, the lines are going down now, so it won't be long before she actually departs. And this is in the stage, they would call this singling up, where they'll reduce the number of lines holding the vessel on shore. Just leave the odd one or two on. Still looks like a fairly stiff breeze in port. If I switch over to the other camera, you'll see that there is a fairly strong breeze blowing the windsock at the end of the 46 berth, I think that windsock is. There you go. Yeah, as you can see, that windsock's pretty stiff, indicating fairly decent breezes here in the port of Southampton. Come on, camera, focus. It's all wet. It doesn't like focusing when it's wet. It gets miserable.
VTS, Queen Mary 2.
Queen Mary 2, BTS.
Yeah, that's us singling up now. Any traffic?
Whip champion, choose western south, but choose in for the Empress.
Thank you.
There we go. So yes, you can see the windsock. It's quite stiff down there. And there's a couple of lines left. They've dropped most of the lines, just a couple on the stern. Let's see if we can see the camera. We use cruise cam, we can actually view. So yeah, so there were some lines down the, quite a lot of lines at the bow and the stern. They've dropped most of them now. They've just looks like a pair of lines at the stern, and just a set of lines at the bow. It will be imminently departing on her world 102-day world cruise. And there we go. They are the extra lines being dropped. You can see the lines on the bow there.
That's all received.
Yes, looks like the rain is holding off at the moment here in Port Southampton. All the wind has picked up. A white and red vessel you see in the foreground, that's the Red Kestrel. That's the freight-only ferry service, the Isle of Wight.
Queen Victoria, BTS, all received. No reported traffic. Over.
Queen Victoria is right down at the, should be the end of Southampton water now. There we go. Getting close to Cowshot Spit, Cowshot Castle. Have a look at the funnel here. I just about see her name, Queen Mary 2, on the side. Oblique angle. You see the lovely bright red funnel of the Queen Mary 2. Very distinctive feature of the Cunard ships is the bright red funnels. And there she goes. She's just drifting ever so gently away from the dock side. with tug assistance at the bow. There we go. We can see Queen Mary 2 drifting nicely away, starting her 102-night cruise. Not back in the port of Southampton until I think it's April 23rd. Something like that. 23rd. Yeah, April 23rd, 2023. So that's a long time. Queen Victoria is departing. Queen Victoria is going around, I should say, clockwise, and Queen Mary 2 is going around more, hang on, anti-clockwise, is that right? Anyway, one's going around one direction, one's going around the other direction. You have to interpret clockwise and anti-clockwise as you see fit. It's a 102-night centenary cruise celebrating 100 years of world cruises from Cunard. Calling in at Lisbon, Heraklion, Suez Canal, Luxor, Salah, Abu Dhabi, Dubai, Muscat, Pulau Panang Island, Kuala Lumpur, Bangkok, Singapore, Saigon, Benoa, Darwin, Airlie Beach, Brisbane, Sydney, Melbourne, Kangaroo Island, Adelaide, Margaret River, Fremantle, Port Louis, St Denis, Durban, Port Elizabeth, Cape Town, Walvis Bay, Santa Cruz de la Tenerife, the final stop. What a absolutely fantastic itinerary. I think the choice is, which one would you take? One of them is spending a little more time. One of them's going over sort of Honolulu, where I'm going completely around the world, I suppose, and the other one is going more to the east and back. Around Africa. Yep, around South Africa. So, yep, both fantastic trips there. Well, I hope you've enjoyed this broadcast, shipmates. We have been incredibly lucky with the weather. We've had 2 firework displays that weren't cancelled for a change. No drone display. There was a drone display for the departure of Ione the other day, but that was... Avia. That was cancelled. I'd like to make this opportunity to thank you all the members of the channel. I noticed we had a couple of new members join today. Thank you very much for supporting the channel. It means I can keep these cameras up and running. Thank you to all my PayPal donors. Thank you to the Patreons as well, of course. And, of course, thank you to all your subscribers. If you haven't subscribed, please do think about subscribing. It doesn't cost a penny. And when I look at my stats, I realise a lot of you watch on a television. So sometimes I know it's tricky to subscribe if you're on television. But if you could just try and find out, or maybe log in on your iPad, something where it's easier to hit subscribe, that'd be great. And, of course, thanks to all the spanners, the Blue Spanner crew, who are absolutely marvellous at operating the chat while I talk a lot of drivel about things. And get my facts wrong most of the time. And most of the people in the chat seem to know more than I do, and are absolutely brilliant at correcting me, which is excellent, because that's what it's all about. We are all about finding out more things and learning more. I shall continue to follow the Queen Mary 2 as she departs on a 102-night centenary cruise. And you can see her as she drifts down Southampton water. Oh, and ahoy there, Becky Diane, who's just joined as a leading hand. Welcome aboard, shipmates. Make your way down to the galley, and then grab yourself a mug of grog when you're down there, because that's exactly where I should be going. I'm run out of grog up here, so I shall shuffle down to the galley and see what I can find. Till next time, shipmates. Oh, and stay tuned for Friday. Make sure you subscribe, because there'll be some interesting notifications going on Friday. Till next time, shipmates.
Project 6, BTS all received. Traffic information, Queen Victoria, counter light flow, outbound clear channel, and Queen Mary 2 away from 38.9, outbound clear channel. BBC Skipper, Southampton BTF, calling channel 12.
VGS Essen.
Eston, BTS.
Yes, that's finished on the Queen Mary. Outbound, back to 37.
Or receive, thank you.
CTS, Queen Mary 2, passing Western Chelsea.
Queen Mary 2, BTS will receive just Red Jet 6, SO inbound.
Red Jet 6, SO inbound.
DTS, Red Osprey, short departing Royal Pier 3 to Cows, please.
Red Osprey, BTS will receive traffic information, Queen Mary 2, Western Shell, outbound, clear channel.
All copy, sir, thanks.
Ho Shanghai, Southampton VTS, channel 12. Ho Shanghai, Southampton VTS. Negative. Due to the weather, the pilot boarding for your vessel is currently suspended. Question. Can you confirm your deepest draft and number of persons on board? Over. Question. How many persons on board? Any dangerous goods? Any defects for your vessel? Over. That's all received. Keep watch on channel 12 and 09. I see you are drifting. Keep a minimum of 10 miles from Nab Tower. Over.
VTS Roger at 6 approaching Western Shelton. Permission to continue at speed, please.
Roger at 6, VTS. May proceed if safe to do so. Red Osprey, Town Quay now outbound.
Welcome, thank you.
BTS with Champion Northwest, Portside 2 on 25.
With Champion BTS, all received. Was that Portside 2?
Yeah, Portside 2.
Thank you. Both Falcon BTS all received. Traffic information, Queen Mary 2, Lanes Lake, outbound, clear channel. BBC Skipper, Southampton BTS. All received. Confirm your deepest draft and number of persons on board. Any defects? Question, does your vessel have any defects? Over. Question, are you carrying dangerous goods? Yes or no? Over. All received. Keep watch channel 12 and 09. Call again when you pass the nav tower. Over. BBC Skipper, Southampton BTS. When you pass the nav tower, the lighthouse. Over.
BTS, Roger 6, good evening again, departing Town Quay.
Roger 6, BTS, all received. Queen Mary 2, SO, outbound now, clear channel.
Oh, see you, thank you.
VTS, Queen Mary 2, passing Cook, opening channel to the east, and we require the deep water route.
Queen Mary 2, VTS, all received, sir, thank you. The Red Falcon's just passed the North Thorn in bed.
Thank you.
Ahoy, shipmates! Queen Mary 2 reaching the end here of Southampton Water, turning to starboard, heading past Cowshot Spit and Cowshot Castle. Visibility's not so bad, is it? We're actually seeing quite a lot. Where's the visibility? Yeah, 11.5 nautical miles. It's not bad. It's not bad at all, is it? Queen Mary 2 will shortly be off our screens, heading towards Lisbon on a 102-day cruise. World cruise. And Queen Victoria already headed off on a 102-day world cruise. In fact, I wonder if we can see Queen Victoria on Netdecap. We may have missed that. Oh, I think we've missed Queen Victoria on Netdecap. Yes, a long time ago. I wasn't paying attention.
Southampton VTS, Aston 12. Ready.
Aston VTS, good evening.
Information, dockhead down for the, let me have a look. Pacific Harmony on it.
Aston VTS, okay, sir, all received, thank you.
VTS, Furby, good evening, and likewise for Furby, please.
Furby, thank you.
Well, like I say, Queen Mary 2, almost at the end of Southampton Water. I see we still have quite a few shipmates in the live stream here, watching away. And we'll be talking about shipmate Robert Fleming. He was very interested in the crew and passenger numbers. The crew-passenger ratio is quite important. He's calculated 1.73 passengers per staff, which is not bad, considering most of the other ships have two or even 3 passengers per crew.
Queen Victoria, VTS. Main channel west of the tower. All received, so thank you. The Commodore Goodwill's 10 miles southwest of the tower inbound for Portsmouth.
I always think that's a sign of a good quality of service if you're down to the 2-to-1 passengers per crew or less. Let's see quite where Queen Mary 2 is. Yeah, there you go. See, that's really close to Cowshot Castle. That's just there. There's Queen Mary 2. There's the other Red Falcon that we can see on our screen, and that's the one behind the Red Osprey. You see the Red Falcon's just disappeared off to the left, and Red Osprey rather, is at the stern. Right, shipmates, I shall be bringing this broadcast to a conclusion because my visibility is disappearing. But we have 212 shipmates currently viewing, and as a little special treat, you'll end up on a different camera. Till next time, shipmates.